Well, hello everybody, I'm Zwigo and welcome to yet another Pokemon challenge video. This time we're going to see if we can beat Pokemon Fire Red with just a single Aerodactyl. The last challenge, beating Pokemon Emerald with only a single Trico, was pretty rough, so I decided to switch it up a bit this time, and I decided to not go with a weakling. I decided I'd go for Aerodactyl. If we take a look at its stats, its attack and speed really stand out. He also has a pretty wide move pool, so type coverage should not be any kind of problem. Now let's get into the rules of this challenge. Rule number 1. I can only use Aerodactyl in battle. Rule number 2. We can catch HM slaves, but we can't use them in battle. Rule number 3. No items in battle, and I'm also not allowed to use any held items because that will make the challenge a bit too easy. Rule number 4. TMs will be allowed in this challenge because Aerodactyl doesn't learn that many moves. Rule number 5. My Aerodactyl can't exceed level 70 since I feel like if it does, the challenge would be a little bit too easy. With all that being said, let's get right into it. We start off by meeting Professor Oak, who asks us for our name and gender because he doesn't want to offend anyone since we live in 2019. We obviously name ourselves Zwigo and we name our rival Like, because if you haven't already liked this video, you should. We then get thrown into the world of Pokemon. We start off in Pallet Town, but as we try to leave, Professor Oak stops us and brings us to his lab. We also have our first encounter with our rival Like. The professor then tells us to pick a Pokemon, and obviously we're going to go with Aerodactyl, who we named Tweety, you know, after the famous cartoon bird from Looney Tunes. Our rival goes for Charmander and he challenges us to a battle. The battle is totally one-sided since we take his Charmander out with just 2 wing attacks. Like then runs off like the baby he is. So we can continue our journey and make our way to Viridian City, where we have to pick up a package for Professor Oak. I wonder what this is. We bring it back to the lab and it seems to be the new iPhone 11. He decides to give one to me and Like, so we can take pictures of every single Pokemon we see, because Pokédexes are outdated these days. He also gives us 5 Pokeballs and sends us on our adventure. We head on to Route 22, where we meet Like. He tells us you should all click that subscribe button down below, and then challenges us to a Pokemon battle. He starts off with a level 9 Pidgey who we can easily take out with 2 wing attacks. Next up is his Charmander, who shares the same fate as his Pidgey. He then starts to cry and runs off while we head to Viridian Forest. We capture ourselves a Rattata in the route just before the forest. He will be our cut HM slave. We decide to name him HM Boy and we continue our journey to Viridian Forest, where we smack every single living bug that we see without any problem, since we have wing attack. After clearing Viridian Forest, we arrive in Pewter City, hometown of the Rock Gym leader Brock. We enter his gym and challenge him to a battle. He gives us a Brock hard time, haha, get it? I should really stop making these puns. After challenging him, his Onix smacks us around a few times because our wing attack doesn't do any sort of damage. We decide to grind up in Viridian Forest up until level 15 because that's the level when we learn Bite, and since Bite is special in this gen, it will do more damage on Brock's Pokemon because his Pokemon's special defense are pretty low. After a grinding montage, we go ahead and try the gym again, as he starts off with his Geodude, who goes down in just 2 bites. Last up is his big rock snake Onix, who we beat with only a few bites as well, and that's how we beat Brock and get ourselves the Boulder Badge. We also get the TM for Rock Tomb, which we immediately teach to our Aerodactyl because it will be a great stab move since it's physical, and we won't be able to get another rock type move up until level 32 in the form of Ancient Power. Next up, we head on to Mount Moon, where we have our first encounter with Team Rocket. We sweep him out of there like it was nothing, and we move on deeper into the cave, where we encountered 2 fossils. Obviously go for Lord Helix, as he will protect us for the rest of our run. We then arrive in Cerulean City, home of the Water Gym leader Misty. But we first decide to head up to Nugget Bridge, where our rival Like has been waiting for us. I'm starting to think that you might be a stalker. After chit-chatting for a while, he decides to challenge us to a battle. He now has a team of 4, but he starts off with a Pidgeotto, who we easily take out with 1 single Rock Tomb. Next up is his Charmander, but he also faints to 1 Rock Tomb. Abra is next, who we one-shot with a Bite. We then try to learn Supersonic, but I leave it where it belongs because I don't think it's gonna be a useful move in this run. He then sends out his last Pokemon, Rattata, who we take out with just a single wing attack. And so we beat Like once again. He starts to talk about Twitter, where you can follow me on, by the way, link in the description. But we then decide to clear the Nugget Bridge and go up to Bill's house. but he doesn't seem to be around because the only thing that we see is a Clefairy. The Clefairy then tries to sell us these pills. We take them and all of a sudden the Clefairy turns into a bill. He gives us a cruise ticket and tells us to challenge Misty. We go back to Cerulean City and enter her gym. We challenge her, but our first attempt doesn't go that well since her Starmie confused us and we got taken out with a water pulse. But I'm confident we can do this, so we try again. She starts off with a Staryu, who goes down to a wing attack. Next up is her Starmie. We go for a wing attack. It does just over half damage as it hits us hard with a water pulse. We also get confused, but it's of no use since we hit our second wing attack to take out the Starmie and earn ourselves the Cascade badge. Time to grab our backpack and travel to Vermilion City to board the SS Anne. We run through the ship and we try to go to the captain's quarters, but we get stopped by Like again. He tells us that he has been training a lot and that he thinks he can beat us. Well, let's prove him wrong. His Pidgeotto, like always, isn't the problem since we take him out with one Rock Tomb. Next up is his Charmeleon, who also goes down to one single attack. Out comes Kadabra, who gets bitten in the face and faints because of rabies. Next up is his Raticate, who we wing attack so hard it actually dies. Leave a comment if you've heard of this theory. We go into the captain's room, who has clearly had one too many drinks. He throws up on us and gives us the cut HM for going through all that trouble. We leave the SS Anne and go to the third gym led by Lieutenant Surge. I hear a lot of people complain about the gym puzzle, but I managed to solve it in probably about 30 seconds. We go up to him and he challenges us to do push-ups and we get ripped and challenge him to a battle. His Voltorb goes down easily, but his Pikachu paralyzes us with his static ability. Next up is his Raichu, who isn't going to go down without a fight, since he takes us out with a few shockwaves. But we don't give up and we go in again. His Voltorb goes down to one Ancient Power, and then the same goes for his Pikachu. This time we get lucky to not get paralyzed, as he sends out his Raichu, which isn't able to outspeed us anymore since we're not paralyzed. We can easily take him out with a single Ancient Power, and so we get ourselves the Thunder Badge! We can also fly now, but I won't be teaching that to Aerodactyl. We backtrack to Cerulean City, go east where we find Rock Tunnel. After running into about 2,000 walls and Geodudes, because I couldn't get the HM for Flash and I forgot to buy repels, we finally make it out and we can see spooky Lavender Town, home of the Pokemon Tower where all the ghosts are. We head upstairs where we find Like burying his Raticate, who we killed earlier. He wants to take revenge, so he challenges us to another Pokemon battle. His Pidgeotto goes down to a single Ancient Power like always. Next up comes out his Charmeleon, who also can't manage to take a hit. Execute gets thrown out, but immediately flies off the screen by the power of my wing attack. Kadabra also gets blown away. Gyarados is up last, as he cuts my attack with Intimidate, but it isn't of any use since we take it out with one Ancient Power to win ourselves the battle again against our rival. I feel bad for him. We killed this Pokemon, all he wanted to do was get revenge, and we just took that from him as well. Next we travel to Celadon City, where we find the grass gym led by Erica. Outside of the gym we find a creepy old pervert who is spying on the girls. Really, Game Freak? This is supposed to be a children's game, but then again you also included gambling, so I guess it's alright. We head into the gym to challenge Erica. She is already high on drugs as she starts off with her Victory Bell, which we easily one-shot with a wing attack. Next up is her Tangela, who shares the same fate. Last up is her Vileplume, which we also one-shot. Well, this was probably the easiest fight up until now, and so we earn ourselves the Rainbow Badge. We go to the game corner to do some gambling, but a Team Rocket grunt starts harassing us. So we beat him up and we discover that their secret hideout is in the basement? We go in and easily clear out all of the grunts and puzzles. At the end of the hideout, we have our first encounter with the boss, Giovanni. He isn't happy that we're destroying his organization, so he challenges us to a Pokemon battle. He leads off with his Onix. He goes for a bind but misses. We go for a wing attack, which doesn't do a lot of damage. He then goes for a bind which does barely anything, so we can take him out next turn with a bite. Big Kangaroo Kangaskhan is up next, who goes for a big Mega Punch. But this does barely anything since it's not very effective, so we go for Ancient Power, as he hits back with a Tail Whip to lower our defense. We then proceed to take him down with another Ancient Power. Last is Rhyhorn. We go for an attack, but we get paralyzed. He hits us with a tail whip and we go for bite, which does just over half health. He uses fury attack and we take him out with another bite. Giovanni is defeated, he runs off and leaves us a SILPH scope, so we can see ghosts. Man, I don't even believe in ghosts, I won't even need the SILPH scope. We then go across town to an old lady's apartment to steal her tea, so we can give that to the police guarding the border. We head up to the dojo and learn our Aerodactyl aerial ace, because it's basically a better wing attack since it never misses. We beat the dojo and pick up another HM slave in the form of Hitmonchan. After this little sightseeing event, we backtrack to Lavender Town to go ahead and save Mr. Fuji from Team Rocket, as he takes us to his house and gives us the Poke Flute. After this weird event, we head to SILPH Co., which has a rocket infestation. We search the floors for the card key while beating up every single rocket grunt. We then go to the healing room with all the bats so we can heal up our Pokemon for our next rival fight with Like. But while we are still in this montage, maybe you can leave a comment down below and saying what challenge you would like to see next. Alright, we managed to find Like and challenge him to a battle. He starts off with Pidgeot this time, which we take out with one easy ancient power like always. Next up is Execute, who also gets one shot with an aerial ace. His Alakazam is up next but shares the same fate as Execute, and out comes Gyarados, who again lowers our attack with his Intimidate. Because of this, he manages to survive an ancient power. He goes for a Dragon Rage, which always does a set amount of damage, 40. But we managed to take him out next turn without any more problems. Last up is his Charizard, which does not cause any sort of problem because he gets one shot by one ancient power, and so we defeated him again. He scoots off and we get ourselves the Lapras, which we name Share, because you should share this video with your friends. We take the teleport path to go to the top of the tower where we find Giovanni harassing an old man. He then turns around and sees us, and he seems to be very mad since we're ruining his entire plan. He comes up to us and challenges us to a battle. Our first attempt didn't go that well because we got KO'd by poison. Our next few attempts go the same way. After trying about a dozen times, we finally get a good run, as he starts off with a Nidorino who goes down in just 2 attacks. Next up is his Rhyhorn, who shares the same fate. Nidoqueen also goes down in 2 hits but poisons us. Last up is his Kangaskhan. We go for an ancient power as he goes for a rage. We go for another one as he uses Tail Whip. We get hurt by our poison and we take out the Kangaskhan and defeat Giovanni. He curses us and storms out of the room. We go up to the president, who thanks us for the effort by giving us a Master Ball. Well, I guess we should use this wisely later on in the run. We head across town where we find ourselves the mental health hospital, aka the psychic gym. We go through some teleport platforms to find our way up to the gym leader Sabrina. She tries to read our mind, but since we have an IQ of about 40, there's really not much to see in there. She starts off with our Kadabra, who we one-shot with one aerial ace. We get a cheeky little level up, and next up is Pennywise, who we also one-shot with an aerial ace. Venomoth also goes down in 1 hit, and last up is our Alakazam. However, he isn't able to outspeed us, so we take him out with 1 ancient power, and so we earn ourselves the Mars badge. Sabrina then gets a mental breakdown and starts to cry. Okay lady, I really don't have time for this, just let me go. Time to waste yet another Master Ball on a useless HM slave, which in this case is Doduo. I'll be teaching him Fly since I don't want it on Aerodactyl. We then head up onto Fuchsia City, home of the Safari Zone and the next gym. The next gym in town is kinda illegal because it's really bad for the environment, so you guessed it, it's the poison type gym led by Koga. We don't waste any time and immediately challenge him to a battle. Our first attempt doesn't go that well since we get taken out by our poison, but we decide to jump into a battle right away after that, and he starts off with his Coughing, who gets one shot by an aerial ace. Next up is his Pile of Poo Muck. We go for an aerial ace, which does a decent chunk of damage. He goes for minimize to try and make us miss, but that doesn't happen because aerial ace never misses. So we take him out and he sends out another Coughing, but he decides to feint straight away to an aerial ace as well. He then sends out his Wheezing. We go for ancient power and we get boosted over 9,000 to take him out and win ourselves the Soul Badge. We buy ourselves a ticket for the safari zone where we find ourselves some teeth. We pick them up so we can bring them to the warden later. As we travel a bit further, we find a TM for double team, and then we can go inside of the last house to get ourselves the HM for serve, so we can go to Cinnabar Island later. But first we go ahead and give the warden his teeth back so we can get the HM for strength, which we will need in Victory Road. Time to fly back to Pewter City and make our way to Cinnabar Island to make a stop by the research lab. You're probably wondering, what are we doing here? Well, I'll tell ya, we are resurrecting the most powerful being in existence, Lord Helix! We get the secret key and we head up to Blaine's fire gym. After completing the hardest quiz of my life, it's time to face him in a battle. He starts off with a Growlithe, which lowers our attack as we can knock it out with an ancient power. He then sends out a bigger puppy who also lowers our attack with Intimidate, which easily survives an ancient power because of our lowered attack. But we take it out next turn with another ancient power. Next are his two horses, which like in the previous game are also on fire. What the hell is wrong with Game Freak and putting animals on fire? You guys got some issues, man. I should call PETA. After a lot of going back and forth with our attacks, we managed to take out the two fire horses with only a sliver of health left. But we managed to do it and earn ourselves the Volcano Badge. Time to fly to Viridian City to take on the 8th and final gym, the Ground Gym, led by Mr. Don Giovanni himself. We go in and challenge him immediately, but our first attempt doesn't go too well because we get paralyzed by his Nidoqueen, and a little later his Nidoking takes us out with the trash. But this was just bad luck, so we go in again. He starts off with his Rhyhorn, where we use our newly acquired move Steel Wing on, which almost takes it out as he goes for the Scary Face to lower our speed. As he heals up, we use another two Steel Wings to take out the Rhyhorn, but he then sends out another one. This one also goes down in two Steel Wings after he lowers our speed with a Scary Face. Next up is his Nidoqueen, who manages to hit us twice with Body Slam, but we can take him out with two Aerial Aces. His Nidoking comes out as he hits us with Trash. We counter with an Aerial Ace, but he poisons us with his Poison Point ability. He goes for another Trash and we take him out. His last Pokemon is Dugtrio, but he gets KO'd by an easy Hyper Beam, which earns ourselves the Earth Badge. Giovanni then gives us the TM for Earthquake, which we decide to teach to our Aerodactyl right away. We travel west to the place where it all began. Our first rival fight, Route 22, where we meet up with Like. He brags about his gym badges and challenges us to another battle, but his Alakazam manages to take us out with Psychic. Our second attempt doesn't go smooth either. We got paralyzed mid-battle and his Execute uses Solar Beam, but we get paralyzed, so he manages to take us out next turn. We immediately go in for another attempt as he starts off with his Pidgeot, who goes down to one Ancient Power, which also levels us up, which is going to help us in the rest of this fight. Gyarados is up next, who we take out with a lucky crit. Rhyhorn then manages to survive an Earthquake as he chips away at us with Rock Blast. We then take him out with a critical Earthquake, and next up is Alakazam, who also goes down to two easy Aerial Aces as he sets up with Future Sight. Execute doesn't get a chance to attack, but our Aerial Ace makes an omelette of him, and Charizard is out last, who can't take an Ancient Power like always, and that's Like defeated again. At last, we can proceed to the final challenge of this video, the Pokemon League. We beat Victory Road like it was nothing, so we head straight up to the league itself. We head up to the first member, Lorelei. She is waiting for us. We challenge her to a battle, but our first 10 attempts end in vain as her Lapras takes us out every single time with her Ice Beam or Surf. So I decide I have to grind up a bit to beat her. So we grind up to level 66 using rare candies we find throughout the run. We go in again as she starts off with her Dugong, who hits hard with a Surf, but we can take it out in just 2 turns. Next up is Cloyster, which also can tank a few hits because his physical defense is through the roof, but after a lot of protects we can take him out as well. James is nothing because it just goes down to a single Steel Wing. Lapras then comes out to tank one of my Ancient Powers. but we go over 9,000 again as we get the boost of Ancient Power. Lapras then uses Confuse Ray and heals up using her Citrus Berry, but it won't be enough since our boosted Aerial Ace takes it out. Last up is our Slowbro. We hit ourselves in our Confusion, which does a lot of damage. He goes for an Amnesia and we snap out of our Confusion to take her out in 2 hits, and that's our first Elite Four member defeated. Up next is Bruno, the fighting type user. As you may expect, he isn't much of a challenge. His first Onix goes down to a single Earthquake. He then sends out his Hitmonchan, who also goes down to 1 Aerial Ace. Machamp is up next, who manages to survive with a sliver of health after I use Aerial Ace. He then goes for a Bulk Up and heals up a little bit of his health with a Citrus Berry, but still decides to use a Full Restore. We can take him out with 2 more attacks as he sends out his second Onix. We go for an Earthquake, but it manages to live, as it hits us with a super effective Iron Tail, but it doesn't do that much damage because Onix doesn't really have good attack. He then heals up and we take him out with 2 more Steel Wings. Hitmonlee is his last Pokemon, but he can't survive 1 Aerial Ace. And that's the easiest Elite Four member done. And so we can head into the next room. The spooky room, with an old woman named Agatha in it. She threatens to kill us, but we use our Pokemon to protect us, so she starts a battle. Her lead Pokemon is Gengar. We go for an Aerial Ace as she sets up with a Double Team, which lets us take it out next turn because Aerial Ace never misses. Cobra is next. Get it? Because Arbok backwards is Cobra? I'm so funny, guys. Anyway, we take her out to a Slither of Health with a super effective Earthquake. As she heals up, we then go for an Aerial Ace so she doesn't heal up again. And we then take him out with 1 more Earthquake. Next up is Golbat, who we take out with just 2 Ancient Powers. Haunter then comes out and we give him the old Slip Slap to take him out. Her second Gengar is last. We go for an Aerial Ace twice as she misses her Hypnosis twice. She then heals up with a Berry so we can take her out and send Agatha back to the graveyard where she belongs. Now it's time for Lance, the Dragon Master. I figured we might have a hard time with him since his team is really buffed up. So I was right and our first attempt ends in defeat. His Aerodactyl manages to take me out with an Ancient Power. The next 3 attempts don't go any better since I get taken out every single time, but finally we get a good run. He starts off with a Gyarados, who like always cuts our attack with his Intimidate. We hit him with an Ancient Power and he responds with a Dragon Rage. We proceed to use Ancient Power to take him out, but wait, what's happening? Our power goes over 9,000 again! His Aerodactyl comes out and he lives with a Slither of Health, as he misses a Scary Face. He heals up and we take him out with another Aerial Ace and a Steel Wing. Out comes Dragonair, who manages to survive an attack and paralyze us with Thunder Wave, but we take him out next turn. His second Dragonair comes out, who sets up a Safeguard as we take him out with 2 Aerial Aces. Last up is his chunky dragon, Dragonite. We start off with an Ancient Power as he responds with an Outrage. He then heals up with his Citrus Berry so we can take him out to win the battle. Lance is a bit salty, but he lets us move on to the Champions Room anyway, where our rival Like is waiting for us, bragging about how he got here first. My man, did you do this with 1 Pokemon? I don't think so. And I'm about to whoop your butt, so maybe you should shut it. Okay, maybe I was wrong. We lose our first few attempts because of his Rhydon, and we also lose the next 20 attempts. But finally we get a good run. He starts off with his Pidgeot, who just manages to survive an Ancient Power. He heals up and we take him down to half health with Aerial Ace. As he decides to switch into Rhydon, who tanks 1 Ancient Power, we then go for an Earthquake to take him down to a Slither of Health. So we can take him out next turn with the Steel Wing. Next is Gyarados, who we take out with 2 Ancient Powers as he cuts our attack by 1 stage. But what's this? We go over 9,000 again! Prepare for my wrath, Like. His Alakazam gets taken out after he uses Future Sight combined with a Full Restore. Executor comes out as we get hit by the Future Sight attack. We hit him with an Aerial Ace to almost take him into red health. He then puts us to sleep and he hits us with a Giga Drain. As we wake up, to take him out. Last up is his Charizard, who is 4 times weak to our ancient power, so we one-shot him and win ourselves the title of Pokemon Champion. Professor Oak stops by to tell Like how disappointed he is and how proud he is of us, and Like then falls into a deep depression as we head on to the Hall of Fame room, and we place him next to all of the Pokemon that have also beaten this Pokemon League with their trainers. I'm really proud of you, Aerodactyl. You did a great job throughout this run. Well, that's the challenge complete, my dudes. Hopefully you've enjoyed it as much as I did. I just want to thank you for your support on my first video. The response was amazing and it really pushed me to make this one even better. As you can hear from the quality of my voice, I also got myself a new mic so that my content will be even more enjoyable for you guys. This challenge wasn't that hard, but it was definitely a lot of fun to make. Next time I'll be doing one of your requests, so make sure to leave a comment down below with what you want to see. And if you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. With that being said, I'm Zwigo, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!